The night before his crucifixion, beneath the twisted olive trees of Gethsemane, Jesus gathered his closest disciples in absolute secrecy. He knew the archons were closing in. He knew the visible ministry was ending. The soldiers were gathering their weapons. The traitor was counting his silver. And the great machinery of the empire was grinding toward Golgotha. But Jesus was not afraid of death. He was concerned with memory. He knew that once he left the physical plane, the rulers of this world, the demiurge and his archons, would do everything in their power to erase the truth. They would burn the libraries. They would hunt down the Gnostics. They would rewrite the Gospels. They would turn his teachings of liberation into a religion of submission. He needed to give his inner circle something that ink and papyrus could not preserve, something that fire could not burn, something that time could not erode. He needed to leave a map hidden in the only place the archons could not easily destroy, the human body itself. He took Peter's hand. He turned the rough, calloused palm upward to the flickering torchlight, and with a finger, he traced the lines etched into the skin. "Do you see it?" he whispered. "The letter M, the mark of the monad." Peter looked confused at first, seeing only the lines of a fisherman's hand. But then, as Jesus traced the intersection of the heart line, the headline, and the lifeline, the pattern emerged, clear, unmistakable. A perfect M written into the flesh. Jesus said, "You were born carrying proof of where you came from. The archons can erase scriptures, but they cannot erase what is written in your skin. This is the signature of the Father. This is the seal of the pleroma." Then he looked at each of them, Thomas, Mary Magdalene, John, and said the words that have been hunted down and removed from every official Bible on earth. Not everyone carries this mark clearly. Look at the hands of the merchants. Look at the hands of the soldiers. You will see lines, yes, but you will not see the signature. Only those who came from the monad as fragments, only the pneumatics, the spirit-born, carry the M on their palms. It is not a symbol, it is a circuit. And when you learn to activate it, the archons lose all power to perceive you. Right now, stop everything. Pause this video. Turn your dominant hand palm up. Look at it under a bright light. Do not just glance. Look deep into the topography of your own skin. Do you see the letter M formed by the major lines crossing in the center of your palm? If you do, if you see that specific sigil staring back at you, you did not find this video by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The monad brought you here. You are a chosen one. You are what the ancients called a pneumatic. You are carrying the monad signature written into your flesh. And tonight, for the first time in 2,000 years, you are going to learn why the archons fear that mark and exactly how to use it to unlock the portal they have been trying to hide from you since the moment of your birth. If you see the M on your palm, comment, "I see the mark," below. Do it now. It is your first act of reclaiming your identity. Before I hand you the activation key, you must understand the terrifying context of this mark. You need to understand why you have it, and why the vast majority of the human population does not. Because understanding this will confirm something you have felt in your gut since you were a child. Something you could never explain to your parents or your friends. You have always felt different. You have always felt like an observer, like a visitor. While others seemed perfectly content with this world, obsessed with status, with money, with the drama of the Matrix, you felt a persistent, aching homesickness for a place you couldn't name. You looked at the stars and felt a pull in your chest. You looked at human behavior and felt confused, as if you were watching a species that wasn't quite your own. That wasn't arrogance. That was recognition. and your body has been carrying the physical evidence of that difference your entire life. The M on your palm is not random. It is not a crease formed by closing your hand. It is a genetic timestamp. Gnostic wisdom teaches that there are three distinct types of humans occupying this simulation. This is the forbidden sociology that the Church destroyed because, if you knew this, their control system would collapse. The first type are the helics, or the material ones. These are the beings created entirely by the demiurge. They belong to this world. They are formed from the dust of the matrix. They have souls, but their souls are woven from the fabric of the simulation. When you look at the palm of a helic, you see lines, but they are often chaotic, shallow, or forming simple patterns like chains. They rarely possess the clear, unbroken M. Why? Because there is no descent from the monad to record. They didn't fall from a higher dimension. They grew from this one. They are the background characters of reality, content with the illusion, sleeping deeply in the dream. The second type are the psychics, or the soul ones. These are developing consciousnesses. They are evolving. They have free will. They struggle between light and dark. They seek truth, but they are still bound to the demiurgic system of reincarnation. Their palms often show an M that is broken, faint, or disconnected. The lines almost touch, but not quite. They are on the path, but the circuit is not yet closed. And then there is you, the pneumatic, the spirit one. You are not from here. You are a shard of the eternal monad, the true God beyond the false God of this world that volunteered to descend into the density of matter. You came here on a mission. You came here to break the code from the inside. And because you came from outside, your vehicle, your physical body, had to be marked. The M is the monad seal. It stands for monad. It stands for memory. It stands for mastery. When the archons see the M on a human palm, they feel fear because that mark means this property is already claimed. This soul cannot be kept in the reincarnation trap forever. This Un remembers. This explains why your life has been so difficult. Have you ever wondered why you seem to attract so much resistance? Why you face deeper traumas, stranger attacks, and more intense isolation than the people around you? It is because of the mark. The Archon system is designed to target pneumatics. It is an automated defense mechanism. When the matrix detects a bearer of the M, it increases the pressure. It tries to crush you, distract you, or seduce you into forgetting who you are. The Archons want you to look at your hands and see only tools for labor. They want you to use your hands to count their money, to build their cities, to hold their weapons. They do not want you to look at your palm and see the map of your escape. But tonight, the distraction ends. Tonight, we read the map. Let us look at the anatomy of the M closely. It is formed by the intersection of three specific lines: the heart line, the head line, and the life line. In palmistry, they tell you these predict your romance or your health. That is the cover story. That is the distraction. In the Gnostic tradition, these lines represent the trinity of consciousness. The lifeline curve that wraps around your thumb represents the descent. It is the timeline of your spirit falling into matter, putting on the heavy coat of biology, forgetting its infinity to experience mortality. The headline, the horizontal line crossing the middle of your palm, represents the veil. It is the mental barrier, the logic, the ego, the programming of the demiurge that separates what you feel from what you know. It is the line of the matrix. The heart line, the line at the top of the palm, represents the return. It is the connection to source, the emotional guidance system that never stopped broadcasting the signal of home. Now look at where they intersect. The M is formed because the headline and the heartline are connected by bridges. The lines do not run parallel, they converge. This geometry is the key. It symbolizes the moment when the mind head bows to the truth heart and the spirit life aligns with both. It is the alchemical marriage of your fragmented parts. The letter M has two peaks and a valley. The first peak represents your origin in the pleroma, the fullness of God. The descent down into the valley represents your incarnation on earth, the valley of the shadow of death. The second peak represents your ascension, your return to the high ground, but this time carrying the wisdom of the journey. You are carrying the entire history of the cosmos in the palm of your hand. And you have been using this hand to hold smartphones, to drive cars, to wash dishes, completely unaware that you are holding a loaded weapon against the dark forces. Why did Jesus choose the palm? Why not the forehead or the heart? Because the hands are the agents of will. The hands are how we shape reality. By placing the signature on the palm, the monad ensured that every time you act, every time you reach out to the world, you are doing so through the filter of your divine origin. Even if you are asleep, your hands are remembering. But an unactivated M is like a dormant computer. It contains the data, but it is not running the program. Most chosen ones die without ever activating their mark. They live their whole lives feeling the itch of their potential, but never scratching it. They return to the recycling bin of reincarnation, their M mark fading as their memory is wiped, waiting for another lifetime to try again. You are not going to wait. You are going to activate it tonight. When you activate the M, you turn it from a passive mark into an active portal. And this is where the archons lose their power. The archons perceive humans through vibration. They track you by the frequency of your fear, your desire, and your attachment to matter. A dormant pneumatic still emits some fear, so the archons can track you. But an activated pneumatic vibrates at the frequency of the monad. To the archons, you become blinding light. Or worse for them, you become invisible. You simply cease to exist on their radar. You walk through the world, but you are no longer of the world. Let me teach you the technique. This is the ritual of the open hand that was whispered in the catacombs of Rome and the caves of Egypt by the first Gnostics. You must do this alone. The energy requires solitude to build. Sit in a chair or on the floor. Keep your spine straight. This aligns your central channel. Rest your hands on your knees, palms facing upward. Open to the sky, open to the source. Step 1. The recognition. Bring your eyes to your dominant hand. Focus on the M. Do not just look at it as skin. Look at it as a canyon. Look at it as a riverbed carved by divine water. Trace the lines with your eyes. Start from the bottom of the lifeline. Go up to the headline, down the valley, and up to the heart line. As you trace it, say internally, I recognize the writing. Feel the weight of that statement. You are acknowledging the contract between you and the monad. Step 2. The connection. Take the index finger of your other hand. Gently touch the very center of the M, the deepest point of the valley between the lines. This is the 0 point. This is the portal. Press gently. You might feel a pulse there. That is not just blood. That is your energy meridian responding to attention. Close your eyes. Keep your finger there. Visualize a cord of silver light extending from that point on your palm, shooting straight up into the cosmos, bypassing the ceiling, the sky, the atmosphere, bypassing the dark grid of the archons, and plugging directly into a massive sun of pure white silence. The monad. Step 3. The breathing. Now we establish the circuit. Inhale slowly through your nose. As you inhale, imagine drawing raw white fire down from that great sun, down the silver cord and into the center of your palm. Feel your hand getting warm. Feel it getting heavy. This is real energy. This is pneuma, divine breath. Hold the breath for a count of 3. Let the energy swirl in the M, filling every groove of the lines. Exhale. As you exhale, imagine that energy radiating out from your palm, surrounding your entire body in a bubble of golden white light. Do this 7 times. 7 is the number of the archons, and we are overriding their layers. 1 breath for each layer of the prison you are breaking. Step 4. The activation command. After the 7th breath, remove your finger. Keep your eyes closed. Your palm should feel buzzing, hot, or tingling. This is the critical moment. The M is primed. It is listening. You must speak the command. Jesus taught a specific phrase in Aramaic, but the vibration translates to any language. If the intention is pure, the command is, I am the memory. Why this phrase? Because the archons rely on you being the amnesia. When you declare, I am the memory, you are canceling the wipe. Speak it out loud softly, but with authority. I am the memory. Feel the M on your palm throb in response. I am the memory. Visualize the M glowing on your skin like molten gold. It is sealing your energy field. I am the memory. Sit in that silence. What you have just done is re-established the uplink. You have turned on the transponder that identifies you as a citizen of the pleroma, not a slave of the matrix. When you open your eyes, look at your palm again. It may look different to you, sharper, deeper. That is because you are seeing it now with active eyes. What happens next? What can you expect in the coming days after you activate the mark? You need to be prepared because the shift is drastic. First, you will experience the detachment. Things that used to trigger you emotionally will suddenly feel distant. The drama of your family, the stress of the news, the fear of money, it will feel like a movie you are watching, not a reality you are living. The archons will try to hook you, but their hooks will slide off. You will look at a screaming person or a terrifying headline, and instead of fear, you will feel a strange, calm compassion. You will think, I remember this game. I don't play it anymore. This is the M filtering your reality. Second, you will experience the synchronicities. The monad speaks in coincidences. You will see the number 1111, 333. You will overhear strangers saying exactly what you needed to hear. You will think of someone and they will call. But more specifically, you will start seeing the letter M in the world around you, in the branches of trees, in the clouds, in the cracks of the sidewalk. These are handshakes from the universe. It is the monad winking at you, confirming the connection is live. Third, you will feel the hand heat. This is a physical symptom. At random times during the day, your palms will suddenly become very hot. This usually happens when you are around negative energy or when you are near another chosen one. If your hands get hot in a crowded place, it is a warning. Your M is acting as a shield, burning up the psychic debris around you. Clench your fist and imagine the light protecting you. If your hands get hot when you are talking to someone, pay attention. That person might be a fellow pneumatic or someone who desperately needs the light you are carrying. And this leads to the most important question. How do you use this power for others? You will look at the hands of those you love, your spouse, your children, your parents, and you might not see the M. You might see the chaotic lines of the hillock or the broken lines of the psychic, and your heart might break. You might feel a wave of loneliness, realizing you are the only one in your circle who carries the map. Jesus warned the disciples about this. He said, "Do not weep for those who belong to the earth, for the earth loves its own. Be the light that guides them, not the fire that judges them." You cannot force the M onto someone else's palm. You cannot carve the path for them. But an activated pneumatic is a powerful thing. When you hold the hand of a loved one with your activated palm, you are literally transferring monadic frequency into their system. You don't need to preach to them. You don't need to wake them up with words. Just hold their hand. Let your M press against their skin. Visualize the light flowing from your portal into them. You can calm their anxiety, heal their pain, and plant seeds of remembrance in their soul just by touch. This is the true laying on of hands that the healers knew. It wasn't magic. It was the M-to-skin transmission of high-frequency energy. The archons have spent thousands of years trying to make you forget your hands. They gave you devices to keep your thumbs busy scrolling, so you would never open your palm and stare at it. They made you wear gloves. They made you work until your hands were blistered and unrecognizable. They stigmatized palmistry as the work of the devil, because the devil, the demiurge, hates it when the prisoners find the blueprint of the prison. But the strategy has failed, because here you are watching this. You have looked, you have seen, and you have remembered. The letter M is not just a quirk of anatomy. It is the signature of the royal bloodline of the spirit. You are a sleeper agent of the monad, waking up behind enemy lines, and your activation codes are written on the ends of your arms. Tonight, you break the silence. Tonight, you claim the heritage. Do not let this just be another video you watch and forget. The archons are counting on your passivity. They are counting on you scrolling to the next video, getting distracted, and falling back to sleep. Do not give them that satisfaction. Commit to the protocol for the next 7 nights. Do the ritual of the open hand before you sleep. 7 nights to break the 7 layers of the archon's programming. Trace the line. Touch the portal. Breathe the fire. Speak the command. I am the memory. If you are ready to take this step, if you are ready to stop being a victim of the simulation and start being a master of the portal, I want you to make a public declaration. The archons watch the comments too. They watch the energy currents of the internet. Let them see our numbers. Let them see that the pneumatics are rising. Comment below, I activate the mark. Write it as a command. Write it as a fact. And then share this video with one person, just one, who you suspect might also have the mark. Do not cast pearls before swine. Do not share it with the Hylics who will mock it. But if you know someone who feels that same homesickness, someone who has that same light in their eyes, send this to them. You might be the catalyst for their awakening. The time of forgetting is over. The time of the open hand has begun. Look at your palm one last time. That is not skin. That is a letter from home. And it says, you are mine. You are eternal. You are free. The M is the key, and you are the door. Open it. If this revelation has changed the way you perceive the very lines on your palms, please subscribe and like the channel. We are excavating the sacred history that they have desperately tried to bury. Plant the seeds of your own future. The next hidden treasure of the spirit will soon be revealed.